Now, Indian Navy Chief Admiral R. Kumar's big statement on U.S.-China rivalry. The Navy Chief has said, and I quote, "Rivalry is here to stay and it isn't short spin, but it will be a long marathon they are engaged in. It has led inevitably to a naval arms race between the West and China, similar to the World War I era between the Allied and the Central Powers. For instance, China has inducted 148 warships in the last 10 years, which I would say is perhaps the entire Indian Navy size, and the process still continues." It's a big statement by Navy Chief Admiral R. Kumar on the US-China rivalry. Let's listen in.
The US-China rivalry is here to stay, and it is not a short sprint, but I feel a long marathon that they are engaged in. This has led inevitably to a naval arms race between the West and China, quite similar perhaps to the pre-World War I era between the Allied and the Central Powers. For instance, China has inducted 148 warships over the last 10 years, which is, I would say, is perhaps nearly the entire Indian Navy's size, and the process still continues.
Crossing over to CNN News 18's Akash to give us more details on this. Akash, can you give us more context on the statement made by Indian Navy Chief?
Right. So, Anjali, you see, many argue that a country that has dominance in maritime domain can have an overall dominance. The Chief of Naval Staff, Admiral R. Kumar, is somewhere highlighting and outlining those efforts by US and China, and also the position of India as of now. Here, the rivalry is there, and it is about dominance and about being a superpower. And in fact, he's talking about the World War I era, where we know that countries like Germany, Austria and Bulgaria on one hand, and we had countries like France, Russia, and Romania, Italy on the other, and the conditions then. But as of now, in the current scenario, China has an aspiration of becoming world power and aspiration of emerging as a super powerful country in Asia while on the way. It is true that China has inducted 148 warships in the last 10 years, which in fact Navy Chief is highlighting. But this gives you two clear messages. First one is, of course, that it's a long way for Indian Navy. And second one is that you cannot just rely or push yourself towards war. But the diplomacy and alliance has crucial role to play. India and its role will always be crucial because our position, our approach and our way forward. You see, we are the resident power in the Indian Ocean region, and that gives you a sort of advantage. And also, I want to highlight that, Navy Chief in fact pointed out that how we are basically, constructing 43 warships and submarines as of now, out of which 41 are being made in India only. So it is a long way for Indian Navy, but our Atmanirbharta approach and our position will always play a crucial role.
Akash, also this US-China rivalry, what impact will this have on India?
You see, we as I mentioned earlier, China has an aspiration of becoming a superpower. Yes, when you have such an aspiration and when you are moving in such a speed that you have inducted 148 warships in last 10 years. And, talking about naval domain, so India and its position is very important. We are the resident power here in Indian Ocean region. So it is somewhere going to impact India. And as I mentioned earlier, our alliance is going to play a crucial role. We know that we have not so good relation with China and US in the last few years, few months. In fact, we have seen that how our alliance and our cooperation, in fact, these both countries, India and US, are supporting each other in the defense sector, in fact. And, here, Anjali, I want to highlight that when it is about the aircraft carrier of INS Vikrant, so, we have a choice between a US aircraft and a France aircraft. So in that scenario, in fact, talking about the alliance, because alliance is very important and we will be directly, impacted with the conditions. So India has a crucial role to play, and position of India is very important. So that's the reason why, anything that will happen between these two countries or any sort of speed in naval time domain will be crucial for India as well.
All right, Akash, thank you for giving us all those details.